Hey guys, and welcome to the Fandom Toy Box presented by AMSecrets.org. I am your host, Nathan Desa. And today I am going to be taking a break from mech toy reviews to instead show off some of my Lightning Collection figures. As you can see here, I have all 7 of the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger figures lined up here. So in this video, I am going to review each figure one by one, give my personal thoughts on them, and also kind of give some commentary on, like, you know, the original releases and the re-releases, since a lot of these figures have, you know, had some re-releases in, like, you know, different forms. We'll talk about that. So yeah, we're going to take a look at each of these Ranger toys one by one, as well as some alternative accessories. So with that being said, let's get started and jump right in. Alright, we are going to start off with the Red Ranger figure here, Jason, or at least this version of Jason. This is the original release, which just came with Jason. This has had a couple of re-releases. There was a female version with the Trini's head, kind of released in a double package where Jason was in the Yellow Ranger suit. That was male. There was also like a Jason 2-pack release where it came with this Ranger figure, along with the Dragon armor, as well as the Gold Ranger. But this is just the original one. I do believe that there's also been recently a metallic armor release of it. So, yeah, this one is naturally, since Mighty Morphin figures have all had a lot of re-releases. So, so there's that. But anyway, something I want to show right off the bat, you know, just seeing as I'm the first guy reviewing Lightning Collection figures here, every Lightning Collection figure comes with, like, you know, alternative hands. So let me, we'll put his helmet off to the side. Like, for example, this hand right here is like a closed fist, but I can actually take it off like that, and like maybe take this fist, which is one that's an open hand, to allow it to hold a weapon, and I can equip it like that. It really depends on the Ranger figure. I can't remember. Obviously, I can't remember each fist. There's a couple of unique ones that have come out, but the Mighty Morphin figures, as far as I'm concerned, with like maybe 2 exceptions, don't come with any. Don't come with very many exceptions with unique fists. But I will point out if there are some. Anyway. With that said, this is Jason. Of course, every Lightning Collector comes with a human head, which, of course, you can take off like that. We'll put his head there, and then we'll take the red. There we go. Red Ranger figure. Every Lightning Collection figure's posability is pretty much the same. You can rotate their feet. Well, their calves like this, and they're you know, they bend at the knee. You know, there's like a double joint here, as well as there's some joints at the feet that you can move like that. Their fists do kind of fold out, which is pretty cool. I don't remember many figures that do that. They, of course, you can rotate their legs at the thigh like that. Their arms, you can rotate it like right here. Under the shoulder, and of course their elbows are double jointed too. Just wanted to get that out of the way so I don't have to talk about this for all Lightning Collection figures. So that's pretty cool posability. As far as this Red Ranger figure, of course he comes with his Jason head. He comes, all the Mighty Morphin Rangers come with their Blade Blasters, albeit in their blaster mode. None of them, I recall, have come with their Blade Blasters in the folded up mode that they carry in the show. There is one figure that we're going to take a look at today that does have an alternative version to his Blade Blaster, but this is not the one. He also comes with his Power Sword, his weapon. All the Mighty Morphin Rangers come with their power weapons, and one of the reasons why this is called the Lightning Collection is because they have these little lightning effects that are applicable to like some of their weapons or other things. You can, of course, take it off. I only have it here right now just to kind of show it off to you, but I don't really like to pose these things with the lightning effects. I just kind of keep them put to the side. But it's still pretty cool. The power sword is pretty good. It looks roughly how it does in the show, and I don't know if you can see it, but there is some pretty good detailing on the blade. But now to talk about the figure itself, yeah, this one, I don't know if I would call it the worst of it, but it has some problems. As you can see, the torso area here is a slightly darker red than the arms and legs, which is very noticeable. And as far as I've been able to tell, this is the only red where I've had this problem, because I also currently own the red SPD, red in space, and red Lost Galaxy Rangers. Now with Lost Galaxy, it doesn't count since the chest isn't really red, but the other Red Ranger figures are just fine with the red. So this one, I'm guessing maybe it was just an early release, but it definitely has problems. People complain about the helmet not looking show accurate, which, yeah, I can kind of see that. It definitely doesn't have the same round, it's a little bit squarer looking than it is in the actual show. Although from what I've known, no U.S. releases of the Red Ranger, of this Red Ranger, has ever gotten the helmet correct. The human head, Jason, we're gonna, hold on, let me adjust the focus of this thing real quick. There we go. Yeah, I guess it kind of looks like Austin St. John. This is definitely not the worst human head that we're ever gonna see. But, yeah, it's not perfect by any means. But yeah, hold on. My camera's acting a little weird. There we go. Yeah, definitely, this figure's got some problems, but it's an early release, and I don't really mind. I still think that it's cool. I mean, usually when I pose it, I'm holding the arms in front of the chest, so it's not really that noticeable, except when I'm, showing it off like this. So it's a pretty cool figure. Now, this one is going for a little bit more expensive. I saw it going for as high as $70 on Amazon. Now, thankfully, I got it for a discount, plus I had some rewards points on my Amazon Prime card. But, yeah, this one is a little bit more expensive. Would I recommend that you can get it if you can get it at a discount? Absolutely, especially if you're a completist. This figure, it's got problems, but you know what? I can forgive it. All right, now we are going to move on to the Black Ranger, who in this version is Zach. This figure has had, I believe, 3 additional re-releases. So this is the original. There was an additional one that, which was also Zach, that came with the Black Ranger wearing the Dragon Shield. There, of course, is about to be, either there is about to be or there already has a metallic armor version with Adam's head. And then there was one that just released in the most recent wave with Adam's head as well, which was weird because that one came with the fire extinguisher weapon that the Black Ranger uses in Putty on the Brain, which is an episode where Zach was the Black Ranger still. So, kind of a weird thing. But this is the original that I have. We have Zach. He, of course, like pretty much everyone except the most recent Madam release, he comes with his power axe. He comes with this little bolt that you can have with the power axe blaster mode. This was blue in the with the Dragon Shield version. And Zach also is the only one of these original releases to come with his blade blaster in an alternative mode. Comes with its in its blade mode here. I do believe that the Adam re-release with the fire extinguisher weapon did come with the blade blasters in their folded up mode, the base mode when they're in the holster. I believe that's the case. But anyway, we have Zach right here. Let's get him. We of course have him with his human head, which hold on. Let's take a look at the human head, a much closer look. Sorry about this. Automatic. adjust is not working, so we'll just do it like that manually. This is clearly Zach with his Season 2 hairdo. Anybody who's watched the show knows that Zach had more of a flat top haircut in Season 1, but of course it makes sense because the Rangers never took their helmets off in Season 1. I think the face it gets down pretty good, but it's kind of hard to take this head seriously because Zach has black hair. This is very clearly brown, dark brown, mind you, but still brown hair. I got issues with this head, guys. It's, I guess the face looks pretty good, but yeah, the hair kind of messes it up, doesn't it? Yeah, so the human head has some problems. Let's get the helmet on, so we can show him off in his Ranger form. So here we have like this. Hold on, let me just adjust the focus just a little bit more. There we go. He of course does come with his power axe, which you can slide this part down like this to put it into its blaster mode, and that's where the lightning effect here comes. You can attach it to the barrel here and pretend he's shooting, you know, like that. So that's pretty cool. As far as this figure is concerned, it's a bit of an improvement over the Red Ranger figure. I do think that this looks a lot more show accurate. They definitely get the helmet down pretty cool. Now there are some problems. I didn't really comment on the Red Ranger's morpher on the belt, simply because, you know, well, honestly, it looked pretty perfect. This one, I don't know if you can see it, but there's not much of a red trim around what's supposed to be the power coin. So that's one huge issue because as far as I've been able to tell, the other figures have gotten that down pretty good. So that's a pretty huge mistake. Aside from that, though, this is pretty show accurate. There is one guy that complained about... Hold on, let's have him wield his power axe here. There is one guy who complained about how the black looks like it's been like stuck in a washing machine for too long, and I can kind of see it. I mean, the black isn't perfect. It definitely doesn't look shiny and new, but I don't know. I mean, I think it's okay. This is definitely one of the better looking show accurate figures. And just kind of a spoiler alert here for the main 5. This one is the best of the 3 male Rangers because, spoiler alert here, I'm going to have some problems with the Blue Ranger figure too. But yeah, aside from that, yeah, this figure is pretty cool. I mean, I got issues with this human head here, but the figure itself, yeah, I dig it. This is, you know, Zach is one of my favorite of the original 5, so I definitely, this is definitely a good figure to have. I do believe that it's going for decent prices on Amazon, so I can definitely recommend that you pick this one up. This one is definitely great. I would probably give this an 8 out of 10. I would, just to kind of go back, I would probably give Red a 7, maybe a 6 out of 10, because I have some issues. This one is a solid 9 out of 10. All right, now we are going to move on to the Yellow Ranger, Trini. This is the very first Yellow Mighty Morphin Ranger release, and there have been a couple of re-releases. There was one, like I said, in the Jason segment where they released this Yellow Ranger figure with a in a male version with Jason's head, along with a female red version. Not really sure why they did that, but you know, whatever. Recently, there were 2 re-releases of this. There was one in a 2-pack with Scorpina, which it pretty much was the exact same. The only difference is that it came with a Yisha's head. And there was also a metallic armor re-release, naturally, with Ayesha's head. So this is the original. Trini, you know, it comes, of course, with the human head, which we'll talk about. She, of course, comes with her 2 power daggers and these little lightning effects that you can add to them. Yeah, not really much to talk about with the differences in these accessories. Let's take a closer look at the human head, which, spoiler alert here, hold on, let me adjust the focus of this. Yeah, that's about as good as we're going to get it. This, probably the best human head we've taken a look at. I mean, it's not perfect. I don't think any of these Mighty Morphin heads are 100% perfect, but I think this one is okay. The red effects added to the cheeks kind of look a little awkward, but I think it's okay. I think this represents Tui Trong as best as a Hasbro human head could possibly do it. So not a bad human head. Let's get her. This one is very tightly placed on there. There we go. Let's get her in her Ranger form. There we go. So here we have the Yellow Ranger with her in her full Ranger mode. There we go. Sorry about the focus. She, of course, does also come with her Blade Blaster and Blaster mode, as already established. Let's armor up with her power daggers like this. This one is actually probably the best one that we've taken a look at so far, and to be honest, I think this is the best one of all of the main 5, because, spoiler alert here, I'm going to have some problems with pink and blue as well. This one, I guess if I'm going to nitpick just a little bit, just to be that person, I would say that it's kind of weird how this is clearly designed to be a female toy when, as some of you may know, in the original G-Ranger Sentai, the Yellow Ranger was male, so the suit was clearly more male appearing, while this one is, of course, they don't have the skirt, but they clearly do design this with a female design. But if that's the only complaint that I have, then there's really not much to there's really nothing that terrible about it. This figure looks flawless. There's no, the helmet looks perfect, with the details, with, the saber tooth, tiger teeth on the visor. The power daggers look great. There was literally nothing to complain about with this toy. This is probably the best of the main 5 Mighty Morphin Power Ranger figures. Now, unfortunately, I'm pretty sure this one is a little bit more expensive on Amazon. I actually, much like Red, I did have to wait for a discount to come. I do believe that there's not much differences between this figure and the one released with a Scorpina, aside from it coming with an Aisha head instead of a Trini head. But that would have obviously be a little bit more expensive, though, since you get an additional figure there. But if you can get your hands on this one I really recommend. This is a flaw. This is actually probably the one with view flaws. I will give this a 10 out of 10, actually. I really like this one. Now we're going to move on to the Blue Ranger. This one has, of course, come with a couple of re-releases. This is the original release. There is one with the metallic armor. Of course, none of the ones with blue come with alternative heads, because Billy is the only blue Mighty Morphin Ranger. But there is apparently also another re-release. I've seen ones for both Trini and Billy. I don't know if they're coming out with the other ones, but the main difference apparently is that the blade, it will come with all versions of the Blade Blaster. So the Blade Blaster in Blaster mode, its Blade mode, and then its folded up mode. Apparently the head does have removable glasses, and apparently they will also come with an actual power morpher that you can have them hold. I don't know when those are coming out, but those have apparently been announced by Hasbro. But this is the original. So we got Billy, his human head, his Blade Blaster. He of course comes with his power lance, as well as this lightning effect that you can add to it. Which, it's supposed to wrap around and kind of do it like that. Pretty cool. And then of course, you also have the power lance in its split up mode, which kind of weird because they're both really short. They're a lot shorter than how they would be in combat, but there's a reason for that, because spoiler alert, you can actually combine all of the Rangers' weapons into the Power Blaster in this version with their toys, so they're shorter so that they can be the barrels for the Power Blaster. Let's talk a little bit about the human head. This is a very infamous human head because a lot of people have made the meme that it doesn't look like Billy so much as Austin Powers. And yeah, that's a pretty accurate description. Not the worst. I don't think this is the worst human head, but yeah, I don't think of Billy when I see this head. I definitely think of Austin Powers. Yeah. It's not the worst, though. I'll give it that, but that's not really saying much, unfortunately. Let's get him in his... let's put the actual thing on so that we can talk about the Ranger form. Blue Mighty Morphin Ranger. This one is... I don't know. I got some flaws with this one. Something about this figure just seems like it's a little off, to be honest. What's Armor with his power lance? I don't know. The blue looks like it's a little too dark, I think. Maybe it's just me, but the blue looks a little bit darker than it should, and I can't quite describe it, but there's something about the helmet that doesn't make me feel like it looks exactly how it should in the in the show. There is I can't quite put my finger on it, but maybe you guys can. Well, I mean, I am putting my finger on it, but I can't quite figure out what the problem is. But maybe you guys, if you take a closer look at it. Am I the only one who thinks that the helmet looks a little bit different than it does in the show? Yeah. This is, this... I'm not going to say it's bad because, it's not the worst, I don't think, but it's a little disappointing. I'm probably going to give this a 7 out of 10. I don't think any of these figures are horrible. I just feel like the design sometimes can be just a little less show accurate, but... yeah, this figure is still pretty cool. 7 out of 10. Okay, to wrap up the main 5, we have the Pink Ranger Kimberly. This is the original one. There's of course going to be a metallic armor release with a cat's head, and there was also last year in 2022 a 2-pack released with Cat. It came with both Cat in the Pink Ranger form, which was not much different from this. And it also came with Cat in her Zeo Ranger 1 pink form, which is the only way that you can get the pink Zeo Ranger in the Lightning Collection as of right now. But this is the only version with Kimberly. She, of course, comes with her Blade Blaster. She actually comes with a pretty unique hand, as you can see right here, which is kind of meant to, like this, to pretend like she's shooting a bow, which of course goes with her weapon. She has her power bow, although it's only one side since they have some little pegs here to where you're able to form the power blaster. She comes with an arrow that has a lightning effect, which this is probably the most unique lightning effect. I actually don't mind occasionally posing her with this, just because, I don't know, I think it's cool that you have an alternative arrow that's like a lightning arrow. And of course you come with a regular arrow like this, which is also pretty cool. The human head is actually really good. This is one of the better ones. I do think that this gets Amy Jo Johnson down. I love those details with the earrings. You can barely see them, but yeah. That's actually a pretty cool detail. This actually looks like Amy Jo Johnson pretty good. I actually really like this human head. It's pretty cool. Alright, so let's adjust the focus just a little bit. Get her in her Ranger form so we can talk about this. So this figure, whoops, sorry, there we go. This figure would be good in my opinion if it wasn't for just one flaw. Look at the chest here. The chest and the torso area, even with the lighting that I have, you can clearly see it. The pink is darker in this, much like the problem with the red. And I've noticed that this is also a flaw with the pink Space Ranger figure, which is weird because, I also have the pink SPD Ranger, and the pink on her is actually not all that bad. But for pink in space in this one, I don't understand why the pink is so much darker here. And that's probably the big thing that prevents me from actually from loving this figure, because it's a really big distraction. Sometimes I do just like to, pose her like this, where she's like, on the side with her bow drawn like that, so it's kind of a little bit easier to hide that. But yeah, this torso area with the darker pink, it's really distracting. The helmet, it looks pretty good, and the other pieces of the suit do, but the torso thing, I'm not going to say that it ruins the figure, but it is a really big distraction. And that is why I am going to give this one I will say a 7.5 out of 10. Okay, next up we are moving on to the Green Ranger, Tommy. This is the second release of the Green Ranger figure. And there's actually some very big differences between this version. This one is considered the more superior one. Apparently a lot of people like it mainly because the shield area, like the shield and the armor here, has a more gold look as opposed to the original release, which had a more mustardy yellow looking type of thing. This version came by itself. The original came in a 2-pack with a putty. The head was different. It was more of like long-haired Tommy with like a ponytail, as opposed to this one, which is clearly his season one, where his hairdo is shorter and he has the green, the green headband. The helmet, which here it looks how it does in the show, as it should be, while in the original version, it was actually the Fighting Spirit version, the infamous one where they had a silver stripe along the top of the helmet. Now, the one thing that the original release had that was a little bit better is that if you lift the armor up, you'll actually see that there's nothing under here, while in the original, there were like the diamonds on the chest here. So that can be seen as a problem, but I don't really mind, because I never really intend to take the dragon shield off this one, so it's not really a big deal. But yeah, that's about it. He comes with both his dragon dagger. Oh, I forgot to mention another difference, which is kind of consistent with the Fighting Spirit. Here, the holster looks exactly how it does in the show. It is black and on his left hip, as opposed to the original release where it was white and was on his right hip. So yeah, that's the bit. That's another thing. He also comes with the Sword of Darkness as well as a lightning effect, which, it's Tommy. Sword of Darkness looks pretty cool. Let's talk about the human head. This one is probably the better looking of the Tommy ones. We're going to be looking at the White Ranger in the next segment. This one is not bad. I think that it gets down the Season 1 look of Tommy. Probably the best Tommy head. It's not perfect, but I also like how there's a detail with like an earring on his ear. That's pretty cool. So that is pretty cool. Let's put him in his Ranger form. Take off his head. Put on the helmet. There we go. One thing I love about this is that this guy also comes with a unique hand, as you can see here, which is made to look like he's he's playing the flute to summon the Dragon Zord. I always like to pose him like this. Well, sometimes I hold the arm like this too, to pretend like he's holding it up so that he can summon the Dragon Zord. That's pretty cool. I love that hand. Yeah, this is probably my favorite of the Mighty Morphin figures. I mean, I'm kind of biased because, we all love the Green Ranger. The Green Ranger suit is obviously one of the coolest Ranger suits ever. And yeah, aside from the flaw where, I really wish that they added the detail of having the white diamond area under the shield, but it's not a huge deal for me. I really dig this one. This one is really great. Now, this one is naturally pretty expensive. I had to wait for a discount on Amazon to get it. So I'm not sure if it's still available now, but this one is definitely in high demand. So if you ever get a chance to get this for a low price, 100% get it. If you're a Tommy fan especially, you should definitely get this one. This one gets a 10 out of 10, in my opinion. And finally, we are going to wrap up with the White Ranger figure, also Tommy. This is one of the very first Lightning Collection figures to be released, and it was one of my first too. I bought this along with Shadow Ranger very early on when it was still in stores. I do believe that there is a metallic armor version that is set to be released, but that's about it for the re-releases of this one. This, of course, comes with a Tommy head. You have Saba, of course, and a little lightning effect to add to it. Unlike the previous one, this human head is not... I mean, I guess it's okay, but the eyes look a little creepy, in my opinion. I can't really adjust the focus best, but this figure isn't bad, but it has very creepy looking eyes, so it's definitely not the best Tommy head. But I do like to use it for both my Tommy figures, though, if I was doing it helmetless, simply because for those who haven't watched Power Rangers, Tommy never took off his helmet when he had his shorter hairdo. So, yeah, I kind of like to use this for both white and green, if only just for that, just being kind of one of those types of people. This figure is also, like its green counterpart, it's pretty cool, in my opinion. Pardon me. I really like to pose it with a Saba. There's not really much of a flaw here. You know, it looks perfectly like how it does on the show. The White Ranger suit was one of my favorite. The White Ranger was one of my favorite Rangers to watch in Power Rangers. It's and I don't think that it's really got that many flaws. I think this one is also pretty flawless. Both the Tommy figures are great. I guess I would prefer the Green Ranger, if only just because I think the Green Ranger suit is better. But this one, as far as it's representing the show, is pretty neat. I definitely recommend this one. I'm not sure if it's available on Amazon or not and what the price is, although I would imagine that since this is Tommy and given some recent events that have, some recent tragic events that have transpired with Jason David Frank, I would imagine these things are a bit more expensive. But if you can get your hands on these, and if you're a Tommy fan, which like 99% of the fandom is, definitely get this one. This one is also awesome. I give it a 10 out of 10. And to wrap this up, guys, I'm going to give you guys this glorious shot of all of the Rangers. The main five are wielding the Power Blaster, which you can actually make with these toys by combining all of their weapons together. That's why the Power Lance came in its two split-apart forms. This is actually the only set where you can actually combine all the weapons to form their combined form, at least as of right now. The Space Rangers all do come with their weapons, as we'll find out when I review that set, but unfortunately you cannot combine them. So I do love how you can form the Power Blaster here. That's pretty cool. And yeah, that is a wrap on the Mighty Morphin Lightning Collection figures. So to recap, yellow from the main five is perfect. You know, there's literally nothing wrong with, that figure. Really great. Red, pink, black, and blue, they have flaws, but I mean, they're not horrible figures, but they got flaws. White is perfect. Literally nothing wrong with white. And green, I mean, if I want to nitpick, maybe I could complain about how there's no white under the shield, at least for this version of the figure, but it still looks great. I can look past that. But would I recommend that you get this whole set? Absolutely. I mean, they're not perfect, but they're still really great figures. And I mean, if you're a Power Rangers fan, why wouldn't you want to have all 7 Mighty Morphin Rangers? Especially when you can line up your figures in a really epic pose like this. I mean, how could you say no to that? So I would 100% recommend that you get all these. Some of them might be a bit more expensive than others, like Jason, and I'm pretty sure the Tommy figures are going to be really expensive now, given an unfortunate event that has transpired in the Toku community. R.I.P. Jason David Frank. But yeah, that wraps this up. I thank you guys so much for taking the time to take a look at this. Go out and get these if you can. If you enjoyed this, I hope you guys will join me next time when I review the Power Rangers in Space Lightning Collection figures. And I will be doing Lost Galaxy and SPD a little bit later this year when we get the final figures of that line. I hope you guys will catch me then. But until that time, guys, I will see you later.